Yo, what it do, baby? Welcome back. Saucytakez podcast, baby. It's your boy Saucy, aka Lemon Pepper Lou, with the boy Gator Gabe, man. How you doing, Gator?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Got another dub this week. We hype.
Yes, sir. That makes two of us. That definitely makes two of us. But I also think, man, we should be hyped because I think we've been crushing our Saucy Takes section lately. I think we are hitting straight home runs here. And as you guys can tell on the screen, I don't know why tight ends are up. We're not going to talk about those. We got quarterbacks up right here, man. Last week we had our consensus, because we only do one quarterback, was Jimmy G. Start of the week. He was ranked quarterback 16. Finished top 10. Finished that 10 right at the crisp of 10 right here with 20 points. Honestly, could have had more if he didn't throw those two picks, but nonetheless, we take a good performance from Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looked really good starting out in the game. He was finding Ayuk. Ayuk 8 this week. People were wondering what happened to Debo, but it was just the way the game went. That's what they were giving him, but they fell into a hole, and Jimmy G ended up trying to dig them out, and that's where those two picks came out. You know,
talking about Debo, I said it last week, and I'm saying it this week. Bye, Debo. Because he had a bad game. He had 10 targets, 7 catches, 79 yards, and 11 rushing yards. He had 90 all-purpose yards with 7 catches. Take that every day of the week, man.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Oh, he had a down game. 90 yards with 7 catches. You take that every day. And then we're going to go on to, I don't think that one was a good enough hit. So we'll get into some running backs, man. Tell the people what your saucy take was for this week at the boom, and we'll see how you did.
Yeah, so I did say Zeke was gonna boom this week. I claimed that he was gonna be top 15 if he got a touchdown, which he did. He did very well. I think he had like 83 yards or something like that.
81
and
yards.
He did have 81 yards and a reception and the touchdown. Historically, man, Zeke just eats the Eagles. He performs well, and he had a repeat performance here. He finished 12th. If he had gotten another touchdown, he would have gotten into that top 10 that I had said he would get into, or top 8, I believe I said.
You did. You said if he gets 2 touchdowns, he's going to be top 10 for sure. And you said 1 touchdown, top 15.
Yeah, so
he delivered.
He definitely delivered. He looked good when they gave him the ball. Obviously, I was honestly kind of like scared because I ended up having to build some furniture for my mom, and I missed the first half of the game. So when I tuned in and I saw this man had 4 rushes for 15 yards at the half, I was like, no way, this man is like literally selling the week for me, man. But he turned it up, bro. They started giving him the ball, and Zeke did Zeke things.
It was a rough first half for the Cowboys. They ended up making it a little bit closer of a game. In large part, thanks to Zeke. He finished 12, 16 points, 14 opportunities, 86 yards. You love to see it, man. My running back boom of the week. I didn't do as spicy as you in this category. Was Eno Benjamin. You see he has a questionable tag right here. He was ranked running back 19 coming into this week. I said he'd finish top 8. I was trying to be real saucy because I really believed. And he finished running back 21. Did he sell your lineups this week? No. Still got you 10 points. And to be honest, he had the opportunity. 15 carries. Not very efficient in those carries. I think, guys, a takeaway from this is the Cardinals' offensive line cannot create any gaps. It was looking so bad, and their starting guard is out for the year, I believe. And he had three targets for 28 yards. He actually looked very good in the passing game. They threw him a couple of screen passes, and he made people miss. So I was just curious as to why they didn't do that some more.
Yeah, that's where he got most of his value, was when he started getting involved in the passing game, because he was being very, not even that he was being inefficient. The Cardinals as a whole, their O-line, they just could not get it together most of the game. Kyler was running for his life most of the game. Receivers were not getting open. Like it was just a terrible outing for them. Eno didn't sell because fortunately enough, he gave you a floor with the receiving work that he got. But And not definitely not what we were expecting in general from this game, because the over under for this game was very high,
50 and a half and
it was nine. What was it? 27 total
19 to
points.
9 or something
That's
like that. So
28.
yeah.
It was 19-9, so 28 points. So pretty much every player that was expected to be a boom from this game sold, but thankfully for the receiving work, did give you a safe floor.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to to our bust of the week, man. This is where I think we both went pretty freaking crazy. Start off
Yeah.
with your guy, man. As I
Yeah.
slow down to
So,
find him, that's how you know we hit.
well, mine was actually Najee, who performed about as much as what was expected. He got lucky with he walked in. He got literally a runway. He had literally a runway cleared for him to the end zone for his touchdown. He finished 17th. I thought he would again finish outside the top 36. I
Yeah.
thought he would be in that running back 3 range. They had him ranked at 20, so he outperformed his ranking. But I mean, without that touchdown, his fantasy production on the day was atrocious.
Yeah, definitely got saved by a tutty. This game was a weird game. The fact that Pittsburgh beat him, I wasn't really expecting, but I also wasn't like surprised. I wasn't that surprised. It's just surprising when you see something that like shouldn't happen, and it
Yeah,
fucking happened. So, like you said, Najee 14 for 42. 3 targets, 2 catches, 7 yards, 49 total yards. Just happened to have a tutty in there. Very inefficient on the ground against a good defense. I think your analysis was spot on. I just think that something that's as unpredictable as touchdowns just happened to be the case for him not being. Because I think if you take away the touchdown, he finishes with 6 points and he's around that 36 mark.
yeah,
So that's definitely, unfortunately it's a miss, but I don't think it's a crazy miss. Just like my
mm-hmm.
was a miss, but it wasn't a crazy miss. I don't think it's like I don't think we break those.
Yeah. But your bus was
Oh, I crushed on my bust. It was Edwards-Helaire scrolling all the way down. He was ranked, coming into the week, he was ranked 18, and I thought he was going to be outside of the top 30. He finished 46. Exactly as I expected. 9 carries, 33 yards. His amount of touch volume hasn't been there. And he's been I don't want to say inefficient. He's been very good with touchdowns. But playing a team like Buffalo, who's very, very good on defense, I thought this was going to be the case. And I did say if for any reason they got down, he was not going to be the guy catching passes. It was going to be Jerick McKinnon. And that just happened to be the case. And Pacheco Pacheco keeps looking nice,
yeah.
man. I know he only
Yeah, so
had 4
his
touches, but
snap share was right around where they usually have him, around like the 50. He had 42%. They just didn't use him. Like whenever he was in, he wasn't really being used. You see he had 9 attempts, 33 yards, and that's even that is misleading because it wasn't like consecutive attempts that they gave him. They literally just like sprinkled them in here and there, and it's hard to get, any kind of momentum that way. I did see a lot more Pacheco than I would like because I do think Clyde has looked better whenever he's been given the opportunity. He's been the one breaking out the big plays for them. But it was just one of those weeks. They didn't put him in those spots where he can succeed and where he's been efficient.
yeah, and playing a tough defense, it
Yeah.
tends to be the case. Moving on to receivers. I think this is where we were actually very, very good in compare. Like we were good at running backs, but I think our receivers
Yeah.
were very well.
We snatched here.
Start with your boom actually, because I
Yeah.
have some
So
things here.
my boom of the week was actually didn't really boom, but he didn't really bust either. He got the opportunity. It was Rondale Moore. The yardage just wasn't there. He had the receptions though. You were just hoping for more out of this game, like we mentioned already.
Yep.
Uh, he was ranked at they had him at 34, 38 coming into the week. He finished 34. I thought he was going to be top 24 this week. Um, you know, there is more to talk about with the receiving court here in Arizona with some
Yeah,
news that we have coming out. Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, I think your boom was it wasn't, you didn't quite hit, but it was definitely a
Look,
lot better than mine.
It was a little better. I don't want to say a lot better because, again, like we say, guys, fantasy is very unpredictable. The most we can do is look where a player's ranked. In our minds, think about like what his percentage of targets are going to be, his catches. And I think if you tell me this guy's going to get 99% snap share in the second highest over-under game from Vegas, he's going to get 10 targets and catch 6 of them, I think that's top 24 every time. So it just happened to miss this week, but I don't think it was a bad miss. Again, I think the analysis was very good, which is sometimes the most you can do. Things are unpredictable.
Yeah.
My guy though, we're here, man. It's the Pierce train. All aboard.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late. It already left the station. But Alec Pierce, they had him ranked at receiver 45 because we actually dug very deep this week. You had yours was 38, mine was 45. That's actually pretty crazy. And he finished receiver 25 this week. I like to see that snap percentage go up a little bit. 7 targets, again, kind of where his average has been. He only caught 3 of them for 49 yards, but it was a touchdown. And not only was it a touchdown, it was the game-winning touchdown.
Game-winning touchdown, yeah.
And was it on a 4th down that they threw it, or on a 3rd and 10?
No, I think it was on a third. Yeah, a third down.
Yeah.
It was a really nice pass and catch, man. He ran that route really well. The release,
burn the corner.
He gave him the moves, and then he just hit the Jets. And the numbers are not like super like attractive, but he looks the part. Like he's passing the eyeball test on the field for me.
I do believe too, like this is a game where Matt Ryan threw 58 times, as we'll get into. And I think this is unfortunately not what they want to do, obviously, but I mean, Paris Campbell had 11 targets this week. That's his career high by a lot. I don't think that's going to keep duplicating itself, especially with the way Pierce has been looking. He's the rookie they invested high capital in as a 2nd-round pick this year, I believe. Just like you said, he passes the eyeball test, and I think Matt Ryan tends to favor those bigger body receivers. He had Roddy White over there, Julio, people like that. Calvin, who's like 5'11", not the biggest guy, but Calvin Ridley's a demon, so can't really.
He's really good.
He's different. So
yeah, I'm in on the Alec Pierce train. I will give you all the props. You've been hyping this man up for I think like 3 or 4 weeks now. He's just looked better. Even the snap, and you can tell, man. Look at the snap percentage, just steadily increasing every week.
Yep,
he's carving out a role over there. He looks good. I expect these numbers to stay more relevant than the other one you were talking about, Paris Campbell. Like I don't expect Paris Campbell to come anywhere near that performance that he had. What Alec Pierce is doing, I can see him doing this again, at least a handful more times.
I did call it too. I said he was going to get his first touchdown this week, and he did.
Yeah, he did say that.
So I'll take that dub right there. Speaking of dubs, man, I think you took the biggest dub we've ever had actually on the show. And I took the second biggest by just a slim margin. But we're going to get to yours first, man, because
I think we both smashed. We both smashed with our wide receiver bust. Mine was Cortland Sutton. They had him at wide receiver 12th. And like I've said, I do not see this man showing me anything that tells me he is the wide receiver 1 on that team. It's all hype right now. He finished as wide receiver 69. And they had him ranked at 12. I said he would finish outside the top 24, and he finished 69. Again, Judy is the one getting open. You see the game, right? He's the one getting open. The Broncos offense just sucks, unfortunately.
Horrible.
And about that too, I thought we had Russell Wilson cooking this week. You saw that first quarter and you're thinking, oh my God, he's back.
Yeah.
They're figuring it out. And then the rest of the game happened, and you look at Russell Wilson's production, I think like 80% of his production came in the first quarter.
He had 116 yards in the first quarter. So even more than like 50%.
He had 116 and the touchdown in the first quarter. Yep. So, like the offense is not really producing, and Sutton just the opposite of Pierce. He is not passing the eyeball test for me. He does not look the part. Judy looks more the part. They're just not clicking yet. So, um,
You know,
you know,
Sutton is, yeah, didn't look the part. Unfortunately, I mean, fortunately, you smashed on this. He was 12th, like you said, 69th, obviously the best number in the world, but unfortunately not for fantasy. So, definitely might as well get to my guy because I do think they have a little bit to do with each other. Mike Williams, he was ranked 13th and he finished 66. Um, and the thing I'll get to with Sutton as well as with Williams, they're not the flashy receivers who, you know, hit you with the skaska and get open. They're the throw the ball up to them, let them create separation at the point of the catch receivers. And very much, because we both saw this game, Sutton and Williams did not get targeted down the field almost at all. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fortunately for the bust, you know, we smacked on these, but for their owners, you just want to see them like launch that shit to them down the field, let them win at the catch point. I know Patrick Surtain, I called it. Patrick Surtain was going to clamp this man up, but I still believe you give these people a chance, especially in a game where their offense was looking. Honestly, they were throwing Palmer the ball. It felt like they were using Palmer like the Cardinals used Rondale Moore. Like just
Palmer was slinging it. He was literally in that Allen roll. This has been the most Keenan Allen roll I've seen Palmer do in all the games that Keenan has been out. And I feel this is what was frustrating about watching Mike Will. You know, he did have Surtain shadowing him the whole game, but Surtain was giving him over 10 yards of space at the line of scrimmage for most of the snaps. If you have him run a quick slant, if you have Mike Will run maybe a little out route, a little flat route,
like he just literally turn to the quarterback, catch the ball, and like let him go yak.
Let him try to bully Surtain. He's bigger. He's just physically bigger than him. Yeah. Even if it's 5-6 yards, that's better than what they were doing the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think teams should definitely do that more often. That little smoke screen, I crave that in the Ravens offense. But we don't know how to get the receivers the ball over here.
I just don't get it. And because he was like Sherbert, we call him Sherbert, but Herbert was literally under duress the whole game. The whole game being pressured, like just get some quick plays. But no, they're giving it to Eckler, they're giving it to Palmer. But those were not efficient plays. Let your playmaker try to make a big play, and they just were not doing that.
I want to say that the right guard and the right tackle from the Chargers were absolutely getting manhandled this game. It was really bad. And on the other side,
both O-lines, both O-lines,
I feel like the Broncos, this is a little bit aside from fantasy, but man, like, do they not have any like hot plays? Like they don't have anything to switch to. Like it's obvious they're gonna blitz, and they still are not, like they're running like bombs, and they're sending 6 people at Russell Wilson. Like I understand, like Russell Wilson hasn't been great, but at some point, like this happened last year. I was live in person when the Dolphins played the Ravens here, and the Dolphins sent 40 cover 0 blitzes at Lamar Jackson, and we didn't have an answer. Like that's not all on the quarterback. That the OC and the head coach got to take blame for that. Like we should be hot routing. Somebody got to get open. Like somebody got to just turn around and stick it, or like like not just run. I don't know, man. Their concepts are bad. Their coaching has been bad. Yeah, I don't really.
Yeah, these defenses had no respect for the offenses on the field. They were sending 5, 6 linemen each single time, and the quarterbacks, you can tell there were some passes that they should have made. Even Herbert, who we're not expecting, we expect Herbert to make those reads. Even Herbert he looked shook. Like there was some like passes that he clearly just missed.
Uncomfortable the whole game. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think only fitting we were talking about this game, man. I didn't technically put him on the list, but I mentioned his name. I said top 15.
Just throw him out there.
It's Greg Dulcich, man. It's the rookie, man. I kept saying it. One thing I look for, I know he only had 3 targets, but the big thing is it's his first game back all year. A rookie tight end they invested value in. And like we're talking about, They don't have the weapons. So this is opportunity. That's all it comes down to. 3 targets in his first game back, 2 for and 44 yards for a tutty. Finished tight end 12 this week. What he was ranked good. 61, guys. That's a fucking smash if I ever seen one. God damn it. That's literally a crazy smash. But like you said, yeah, he looks good. He looks like he does Head and Shoulders commercials here on the picture. But trust me, boy can ball. Like we said, it's basically Judy, Sutton, and nobody else. Hamler caught a bomb, finally showed up. But you want players in positions with opportunities. Like, you want rookie players who they invest draft capital in with opportunities, which is why I'm always very high on these young players.
Yeah, man. And I mean, if you're, I mean, like we all know, we're all very aware. It's tight end is very shallow.
Yep.
So if you're one of these people that still hasn't found, one of these tight ends, if you haven't found your Zach Ertz, your Njoku, your Dallas Goedert, these people who were not hyped up. If you haven't found your tight end that you can rely on, and you're just still taking shots, I think he's worth a shot. When he was on the field, he looked good. He looked good. He looks fast. He looks like a good cutter.
Yeah, he's very athletic.
He runs good routes. So I expect him to be more involved. Russ did seem to like when he was targeting him. He was wide open on the touchdown.
He caught the touchdown, and then later on in the game on third and goal, they threw him the ball again.
Yeah.
It was the only target he didn't catch, but hey, like I'm saying, guys, opportunity, that's what you want to see, and he's giving you this opportunity, man.
There's definitely interest. Definitely interest there.
And they're playing the Jets next week, who just gave up like 10 and 90 to Robert Tonyan. Like, seriously, like might be a streamer. We'll stick around for the next episode. I'm gonna crunch some numbers and we'll see if it's valid. Stand by on that. But I mean, that does it for our saucy takes. I think we were both very good this week. It always feels good to hit, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think it's about time we go to the league recap, man. You were coming into this week, if I'm not mistaken, you were what, 10-0?
10-0 on my pick'ems, yeah.
Yeah. And this week, I mean, it might as well start with your only loss, man. We got to start with the boy, man. I proved my haters wrong. I love to do it. I know it's nothing personal, man. I know it's never personal. But he showed up this game. She's no longer undefeated. We had to take him down. Got Jess. We finally beat her. I picked myself because I'm always confident in myself. And I'm just proud to say that I beat her, honestly.
No, you dethroned her. You took her down.
I think doesn't this make you number one? You're welcome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you a thank you for that. This should pull me over to one, which Mike Williams almost also sold the number one spot for me because I'm barely gonna outscore her. I was projected going into tonight to have like 150 something points, and Mike Williams just bombed. Like he just pooped the bed. But fortunately enough, I did still score enough, and her team scored low enough that I should be able to overtake that number one spot. But yeah, I mean, now no one's undefeated.
Yes, sir. That's what I like to see. I don't like to see donuts up there, Joseph.
Oh man.
But we're gonna talk about the Stellars and the Sellars, man. And I think it's only fitting I talk about my Stellar, Mandrews. Y'all see the nickname, man. That's the best player Baltimore has. Period. I know we have Lamar. That man's different, bro.
Outside of Lamar, right? Yeah.
No. Period. It goes Tucker and then Andrews. Tucker's the GOAT, even though he missed a field goal. But yeah, man. Mandrews looks, 27 points. This is what I traded him for. I'm so happy. Just got a great game from him, man. Honestly. I don't know if did you see the touchdown catch that he had?
Yeah.
It was a simple touchdown catch, right? Psych. They put the slot corner on this man, and the slot corner tried to press him, and he didn't Mark Andrews didn't overpower his press. Like he hit him with some Like I thought I was watching
Yeah,
prime Dwayne Wade out there, just left right crossover, bop bop bop, goes
yeah, he hit
untouched
him
and
with
just
that,
goes,
man.
"Give me that shit." You're a little boy to me. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
Mark
and
Andrews.
I love when players catch the ball with their hands. I'm personally one of the guys, one of those people. I hate when players start catching the balls with their chest. When they let the ball hit their chest, how many times do you see the ball literally bounce off? How many drops do you see? You're a receiver. You have Superman gloves. Like just bah, let the ball sit in your
Hey,
hands and catch it. And
that's why
that's why I love Mandrews, bro. Mandrews is he's him.
Timothy. Yeah,
He's
Timothy.
Himothy.
Timothy, baby.
Yeah, he looked really good. Yeah, as always. You know.
And my seller is DJ Moore. Um, Jesus, guys. Honestly, I should have known better. I shouldn't have started him with PJ Walker there. What the fuck was I thinking? But do I
Yeah, you
look?
deserve that one.
Yeah, am I still? I'm happy I got the dub, even though he sold. But I'm also very happy that I won't say very happy, but I'm as a Moore holder, I'm glad that Robbie Anderson is no longer on the team. More targets for my boy. That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling. Things are looking up
Oh
for DJ.
man.
Go DJ.
He might
That's
not
my
even be on the team, man. He
hey,
might not even he might be the
hey,
next one to go.
hey. I don't know if you've seen DJ Moore is from the or he's been linked with the Ravens ever since his draft. He got taken before, and that
Oh, I
was the
know you would
guy.
love that. I know you would love that,
I know we
man.
can't do
I
it because he has a fat ass contract, but if there is any fucking way we can get Lamar Jackson any help at receiver, I am 1,000,000% for it. Please, I am tired of seeing DeMarcus Robinson drop 2 passes on fucking 5 targets. I
Hey
need.
man. Be
I,
easy on Demarcus Robinson, all right? He was really he was a stud for the Gators, all right? But
oh man, dude, he needs to be a stud for us, man. Come on, man. I
yeah.
need to go to therapy after watching our receivers play every fucking week when Bateman isn't here. Please. My bills are gonna get expensive in this therapy. And
Yeah.
moving on to her, man. I think it's obviously her biggest stellar was, come on, man, Stevenson. What'd you think of Stevenson this week? Besides of the fact that he went absolutely looked like RB1. Period.
I think he benefited a lot from getting into the end zone twice this week.
Yep.
The offense wasn't really producing much. The New England has literally just been feeding off of their defense the last 2 weeks. They've been like shut out. Like they're playing so good and they're putting their team in good positions and they're making just enough plays to put themselves in good positions to score and they're capitalizing on it. Stevenson is hitting those gaps whenever he gets the chance. Uh, but other than that, I didn't. I mean, the first touchdown run was actually really nice. Um, but I mean, he did his thing, man. He got the opportunity. You know, we that's one of the things we look at is you know if they have the opportunity, will they produce? And he's doing that.
19 carries, 5 targets. That's what you want to see. The 2 touchdowns, you know, what is it called? I forgot. Well, ice cream on cherry on top, whatever.
There's a
Yeah.
cherry on the top.
Cherry on top with the 2 tutties, but definitely something you'd love to see is the sheer volume. And like you said, New England has been playing really, really well on defense. Just really good complementary football. Talk to me about her seller though, man. I think we had written down.
Oh man, yeah. So she has two. You know, so I believe Nick Chubb came into the week. Um, well, not even Melvin Gordon and Herbert. We already talked about Herbert a little bit. Uncomfortable the whole night, and then Melvin Gordon. You know, point 0.8. You know, you're starting him, and I know she had to slot him in because Jacobs was on bye and Hines was got his head wrung, so
Yeah, Connor was out too.
he couldn't really play. Connor ended up being a late scratch, so she scrambled around and started Melvin Gordon, but what can you do there? It's just unfortunate how the way that happened. I think he was hurt. I think it was a neck injury. He has. Let me see.
Actually,
Neck and ribs. So he did play a little bit, and then he did not see the field the rest
we're
of the
talking
game.
about Gordon with the neck and
Yeah,
injury on the ribs. Okay,
yeah,
okay. Because I know Connor
yeah.
was out for
So
hurt.
No, so Melvin Gordon, I did see him on the field. He was on the field to start the game, and then maybe he took one of these hits that re-aggravated the injury, and he looked frustrated on the sideline. If you
Yep.
watch this game and they took a couple of they put him on the screen a couple times, and he just looked frustrated, man. It must be an injury thing. Um, there's a name that did get involved that we'll talk about a
Yeah.
little bit later. But yeah, man, I and Herbert. Anytime your quarterback gets you, especially your QB1, who you invested high draft capital on, gets you 10 points, man,
It's a
that's
toughie.
just rough.
Yeah. Getting less than 12 points from your RB2 and your quarterback one is literally putrid. I'm the beneficiary of that this week though, so I'm not gonna complain.
Technically, I am too, because
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
get that number one spot. So
Just I think
shout
it's
out to
only
you.
only fitting we go to your game here.
Whew.
Talk to me about your how you feeling and talk to me about them Stellars and Sellers for this
Yeah,
one.
it's kind of bittersweet because I love my boy Swift, so I hate to send him to 0-6, but it had to be done because your boy's going for the title. And yeah, man, I'm very happy with my team. It's gonna get even better because the boy Nuke is coming back this week. Very
Yes, sir.
excited about that. But the boy Leonard Fournette, man, every week he's just performing at a high level right now. Even when the team isn't, he has so much opportunity
Yep.
that it's impossible for him to not produce. So it's just and then my setter was Mike Williams.
Yes,
Obviously
sir.
he was my wide receiver one and didn't do wide receiver one things, unfortunately.
He did wide
So
receiver 66 things.
yeah, then we also have Kelsey, but Kelsey is, Travis Kelsey is Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
108 yards, 8 receptions, that's my dog right
Expected.
there.
Expected.
Yeah.
Tight end one doing tight end one things. Yeah. I also looking here, Curtis Samuel didn't do you too good this week. He also dropped a tutty, so it is what it
Yeah.
is. But I think for Joseph though, his biggest stellar is no one. I don't think anybody stood out here. He got 20 points most from his quarterback. Nobody really, really stepped up over what was kind of projected or expected. And I think the biggest seller is himself, man. I don't think in a 10-team league your team should be looking as slim as this one is. And he has Dalvin Cook on a bye next week too, so that's gonna hurt him even more. Just his team doesn't look too. Hopefully DeAndre Swift comes back and turns things around. Bateman hopefully comes back for him, but this team he's looking kind of dire out there, man. What do you think? Are you in agreement with the Stellars and the Sellers for his team?
Yeah, I mean, it's just this is one of those situations, man. He has to either decide to stick it with the team or make some moves to try to improve the situation. The only downside about that is that he would have to try to trade one of his players that actually still have value.
Yep.
Um, which, if you look at his roster, a lot of the people he has were misses, or have been misses. So it's tough to try to get something back when you're down like this.
Yep.
Definitely something I'm not used to seeing from this man. He's usually very on top of. He's usually a very good manager. Not to say he's not this year. It's just it hasn't gone his way.
Unfortunate. I do agree. Moving on. Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention we both picked you to win that matchup. We both picked
Yes,
Gator.
sir.
So far, for this week, I believe, what was your record this week? 3-2.
I believe at 3-2 this week in
I was 4-1.
overall, 4-1 for you.
I think your overall is 13-2, and
It
I
will be
am
13-2.
12-3. So very close. We'll see how I
Yeah,
finish here.
this week literally closed the gap.
Yeah, it took a game away from you, and here we got
Mhm.
solid against Tony. This was one of the games where we both took solid, and we both took an L.
Yeah.
Tony, man. Tony's team came out to play. I think his just in general, the biggest stellar and seller was himself. Twice. I want to repeat that. Just the fact that he had Jeff Wilson in there, Clyde in there, both being very bad. But at the same time, he had, Tyreek getting him points, Kenny Walker getting him points, Zach Ertz getting him points. Like, he had literally, it was like a tale of two teams. And
yeah,
thankfully, the upper tail was better. The reason I included him in the seller department as well is because if we look at his bench, man, I mean, obviously, we're not talking about Gesicki, but talking Brian Robinson, Devin Singletary, specifically Singletary, players that I would have personally started over Clyde, him being my best of the week. And just unfortunate, but fortunate at the same time because he got a dub.
Yeah, man. I would say for Jeff Wilson, I believe they had him ranked at 13 on the week, RB 13.
Yikes.
And to give you half a point, it's rough. If there was to be a seller, that would be my seller. I wouldn't start, Singletary over him, or I wouldn't have. I would have considered Singletary over Clyde, just because Singletary has looked phenomenal this year. But Jeff Wilson, man, I had him. I started him in two. I'm pretty sure I started him in two leagues. And to see half a point from one of your, which would be your RB1 in this week, that's rough. But you got to give him props. He started Kenny Walker, first debut where he gets a full workload, and he smashed for him.
Yes, sir.
So that's why we say Tony is the seller and the stellar, because he made choices, and some of them panned out, and the other ones did.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Solid here, I think his biggest stellar was obviously, you got to talk about Eckler. Eckler, 16 targets is insane. And also want to talk about George Kittle, 10 targets, 8 catches, 83 yards, a 20 piece because we play in a tight end premium league. Just not enough, unfortunately, but those players did their part. Austin Eckler actually almost won him this game. OT. Just ridiculous. Again, his efficiency isn't even there because he had 24 touches, 14 carries, and 10 catches for, I believe that's 83 yards. That is horrible efficiency. But again, they're just dumping this man down the ball at, kind of getting the Uncle Lenny treatment. Lenny might not be the most efficient sometimes, but he's getting 20 minimum touches or opportunities a game, and that's kind of what did it for him this week. Definitely sold by not playing my boy right here, Alec Pierce. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Solid, man. You're a trusty guy. I'm in the Megla Bowl with this man. I trust your opinions. I thought you would trust mine. I told you to start Jackson this week, the Dane Jackson guy, or Dion, I believe. I forgot his name. The guy who was RB1 of the week. I told him to start him this week and go drop fab on him. And you don't listen to me with Alec Pierce, man. Apparently I know my Colts, man. I know my Colts. You got to listen to me on these Colts.
Yeah, I will say picking McKenzie and Higbee here. Going with two tight ends in a shallow tight end landscape is very ballsy of him. I can't blame him because Higbee has been good, but I would have gone a safer route and started either, Kittle or Higbee. I personally lean Kittle because you don't draft. He's just too good to not produce. For the whole year, he has a game, and I thought 20 points from Kittle, even if it's just regular PPR, I believe he had 8 for 83, so that's 80, 16. So he definitely. I mean, if we would have listened to you, Alec Pierce would have won him the week. Even if he started his favorite receiver, Allen Robinson,
Mr.
Robinson himself, he would have won him the week as well. It's just unfortunate the way that played out.
Yeah. Close game, lost by 4 points. Closest game of the week for sure. And the next matchup we have is Kev and El Carbo. Honestly, another close matchup, and just another. I know he's not a stellar because he didn't do good, but Jerry Jeudy should be a stellar because he came through for Kev. Got him just the same the amount of fantasy points he needed. It was only 8.4.
Enough. He got him the right amount of points. Yeah.
Exactly. I wish Mike Williams would have done that for me in some other league. I lost by 3 points because this man could not score. Kev's biggest stellars are, like you said, the studs, man. Come on. You said 60 points between Allen and Diggs, and it was just a little bit over 60 points.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, this is a cheat code every week into your lineup.
That is a stack that everyone wishes they could have.
The dream stack.
Yeah. And then, I mean, don't forget the game-winning touchdown from that game, the Dawson Knox, you know? That's like an 8-point play in our league, the tight end premium. So that was huge for him too, getting that stack. I don't think he really had any bad sellers besides maybe DK.
Yeah.
You know, this game, man, it just disappointed. It disappointed on so many levels. DK, you would expect with this terrible Arizona defense that he would have eaten, and he didn't. It's just very unfortunate that this game. It's very upsetting for everyone who was invested in this game. Like we said, the over under. You said it was 50, and it went 28.
Yeah, horrible.
That's just terrible.
He had Juju on his bench. Thankfully, he didn't need him. I'm gonna give you props because you did say to start Juju. I said to start MVS, and he gave as many points as the people who are on bye week this week. So let's not talk about MVS takes. Talking about Eli, man.
El Carbo, man. You want to talk about a tale of two teams. Like Tony, this man literally had his whole. You look at just put up his first four,
right,
and then
there.
look at it, the bottom half of his team. It's literally two different teams. We're
talking 35, 28, 23, 32, and he lost. Those are just 4 players because I believe the rest of his team was 3.7, 2.4, 6, 6, 6, and a donut.
Yeah, man.
Just, my God, like, I know to a certain degree he couldn't have been like that unlucky, but he was also very lucky because Burrow and Chase went nuclear. This was the best game they've had all year. And 28 points, running back one from a guy he picked up off of waivers on Saturday is crazy.
Yeah, that would be my stellar for him this week because you're drafting McCaffrey, Chase, and Burrow to ball out. But if you make a spot start off of waivers because of your dire need, because JT was out and you're very shallow at running back right now, and you end up with the running back one on the week, that's an automatic seller.
I'm right with you on that, but I'm not gonna lie. Crazy. Like we said, his sellers is the bottom half of his team, literally everybody. And his stellars is his top half of his team, but definitely the stellar of the week award, period, point blank, period, across the entire league has got to be Deion Jackson.
That's just amazing, yeah.
We got the last. Oh, we got that one.
No, we both picked Kevin on that one.
We got that one right, barely, but barely's enough. And then we got Hunter and Flex.
Yeah, the top scorer of the week, Mr. Hunter over here. You take it away, man, because it's your Colts over here that gave him
the cold stack of the century. Apparently, Matt Ryan, 31 points, and where's Michael Pittman at? Michael Pittman, 26.4. A combined damn near 60 points from those two players. I believe personally that's what took him over it wasn't really what took him over the edge. It's what took him to make him the highest scoring team this week, just because he was, Breece Hall had a good game and stuff like that. Like his entire team, not really a big seller, I would say. Just Mostert and 5.8 isn't really horrendous, I guess, for an RB2. His opportunities were there, like we said, 15 touches.
What you're expecting from Mostert, 5.8 isn't too bad. Because you're not expecting, 15, 14 points from Mostert. You're expecting about 10, 11 points because he doesn't really get involved in the passing game. He's more their running back, their uphill, their north-south runner. But yeah, man, his team balled out, and Matt Ryan, that Pittman stack, when it's comparable to Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs,
You're doing something right.
you had something going that week. Yeah. So props out to Hunter. What about our boy Big Flex over here, man?
Man. I honestly, he had no stellars because nobody did good, and the seller was himself, along with Carson
Yeah,
Wentz. He, as you
yeah,
guys can see, he had Damian Pierce. He doesn't have another running back. It's literally Zeke, Damian Pierce, and he has Evan Coleman and Cordero Patterson. But nobody healthy enough to start. He could have been the guy to pick up Dion, but whatever he would have done this week wouldn't have been enough. Like literally, so he gave. I guess he felt bad for Hunter because Hunter was 1-4, even though he has a good team. I low-key wish he would have started somebody or at least talked to your boy for a trade. But it happens. It happens to everybody. Sometimes, last year, if we remember correctly, Kevin Larry Clapper drafted like 6 players in a row with week 7 buys.
yeah. He had everybody on bye.
Sometimes you take a puff too hard or I don't know, you eat something that has a little bit of pizzazz in it and you start feeling I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on through Kevin actually last year he had COVID when he was drafting, so I guess he gets a slight pass. But even then,
That's
man,
fair.
it be happening, and my boy Flex is in Alabama. You know what be happening. I don't know what be happening in Alabama, so it is what it is. But we both picked Hunter, so we're both right
Yeah,
on that
we
pick.
matched on that one. I will say it is funny to see the week end, and on the yet to play section, it still says one running back because Damian Pierce was on bye week. But we did say last episode, man, he was gonna. We had a couple people. It was Big Flex and El Carbo. They were gonna have to make some waiver picks because they were shallow at running back, and that's what you saw here. He suffered from poor management. So if you want to make a seller, Big Flex, you sold this week,
Sir,
and you know we can wrap that up and take it on to the next section here, right?
go ahead, man. I think it's
Yeah,
actually
we're going.
I'm gonna do it because I think it's fitting, man. It's Ravens players. I gotta talk about the Ravens
Oh, of
players.
course, yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna talk about these guys in tandem because I think they should. Well, I think they should be talked about in tandem. Our running back waivers, in my opinion, I'm gonna pull them up here. It is Kenyon Drake and Gus Edwards. The reason I'm saying both of these guys is because Kenyon Drake just had himself a day. 10 carries, 119 yards, and a tutty, 2 targets, 1 catch, 8 yards. J.K. Dobbins got hurt. His knee tightened up. They don't know when he'll be back. I hope he's back soon because I have him, and also I think he's still the best running back we have.
Yeah.
Drake had 2 carries this game where the offensive line, like he literally did not get touched, and they were over 30 yards both carries. Does he look good? Yes, I will say I am so happy. No more Mike Davis because this man can actually move a little bit. Mike Davis is not that guy. And I think he should be. You should sprinkle a little bit of fab on him, but the guy that personally I would be putting fab on is Gus Edwards. Let me talk to you guys from a Ravens perspective here, man. His name's
Yeah,
Gus the Bus. That's all you got to know.
Gus Bus, yes, sir.
Former UM, transferred over to Rutgers, came to the Ravens, undrafted free agent, was RB2 literally the entire year while we had Ingram. And then when it was him and Dobbins, they were just both being tanky as heck. And that's something we love to see here. Just the amount of sheer production that he's had. I know he's never finished better than running back 37. This was a 3-way timeshare back then. I don't think it's going to be the case this year. I think if Dobbins and him are healthy, it's going to be him and Dobbins. And if it's him and Drake, I think it's going to be just him and Drake. So I basically think it's going to be a 2-way time split, and I think he's going to be the goal line back. 6'1", 238.
Yeah.
He's actually slimmed down a little bit. They don't update this. He's actually around 230. And Adam Schefter came out and said today, actually on the Monday Night Football Countdown, that he expects Gus Edwards to be back. He's practiced for 2 weeks. I think it's time, and please let it be time because I need to see some kind of production. I need to see this offense get back to form, and what better way to take it back than to bring back, one of the main pieces of 2020. Most of
Man,
us.
you gotta leave it to the Ravens fan to have that kind of insider information on the men's updated weight,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the Gus Bus really. I mean, the goal line has always been his expertise. Then even a few years back, um, Kenyon Drake did look good. Even if you do get those those lanes open for you, you still have to hit them and
Yep.
hit them with your head down. And he, that those are not plays that, like you said, Mike Davis. Those are not plays that they're making.
It's a 6-yard
He,
carry with Mike Davis. He has real speed.
if you get Drake in space, he's always been that type of player who can get out in space, make a play. He just, he's lost a step, unfortunately. But if you sprinkle him in here and there with fresh legs, he can definitely get you in. If Dobbins is to miss any time, Kenyon Drake is a definitely pickup for me.
Yep.
Especially if, for example, if you're like Flex and El Carbo and you're short at running back, this is definitely an option you should be looking at. Um, I do think he does get the nod to start for just because Gus is coming back from injury. If
Absolutely.
Dobbins is to miss time, but yeah, man, I think, and the Ravens, they're a running team mostly.
Don't sprinkle Fab on one without sprinkling Fab on the other, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Most people are going to be looking at Drake and they're going to put their money on Drake, as they should. You should not, don't think you're going to get like a surefire starter if you get Gus this week. You never know how much he's going to play. But one thing that you are going to know is that Gus Edwards is the guy that the Ravens have a contract long term with. He signed for 3 years, and Kenyon Drake was literally a 1-year deal, and it's not even fully guaranteed. So, with that being said, like, there's going to be contractually, there's going to be some, like a little bit of lean to try to get Gus back into the mix of things, because he might be cut at the end of the year. And one thing we've learned in general, or we should know, is never to play with the man's money. If a man's at risk of getting their money cut, they're going to go out there and they're going to ball. It happens every year, whether it's baseball, basketball, football. You don't play with the man's
doesn't matter,
pockets.
man.
Yeah, man.
Whenever it's a contract year,
It's goal time.
regardless of the sport, it's go time, man.
It's
That's when
goal
they
time.
gotta secure their future.
And
So
he's under contract for next year, but he's not fully guaranteed for next year. He could literally be cut for like $500K. So
yeah.
I expect the Gus bus to be fucking churning like Miss Fritz is on that bitch. So that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take it away with the next guy here as I bring him up.
Yeah, so we got to talk about Latavius Murray, man. He is just a guy. It doesn't matter what team he ends up on, he produces.
Except for the Ravens. Sorry, continue.
Well, I mean, the thing here is Latavius Murray. Let's see. Let me pull up his stats real quick. He went for 15 for 66, so he was efficient. That's over four yards a carry. They just need running back depth out there, man. Boone hasn't looked good. Melvin Gordon's dealing with injury. Javonte's out the whole year. He's just reliable, man. Whatever roster he's been in, aside from the Ravens, like we said, he's been able to produce. The Ravens, the Saints, and now with the Broncos, and he's gonna get the opportunity because Melvin Gordon is nicked up. Boone doesn't look good, and it's just opportunity. Like we said, opportunity. There's value there, man. And if you are looking this is a really shallow week. We don't have a lot of names that are really relevant. And Latavius Murray just popped up out of nowhere this week. They pulled him up, signed him, and pulled him up from the practice squad, and he got on the field and produced.
Yeah.
So definitely worth the. How much fab are you sprinkling on him if you think if he's out there? If you're, let's say, you're Flex or Carbo, and you're looking to stash some running back depth.
If I am specifically, if I'm Flex, I'm throwing like 15 to 20% on him. Me personally, as somebody who kind of could use a second running back, I would probably put like maybe 8% because I don't know the extent of Melvin Gordon's injury. And like we talked about, this offense has been kind of clunky so far. So I don't really know, and his passing work is very limited. So I don't want to go too crazy, but definitely his opportunities are going to be there on the ground. If this offense ever does click, he looks like he's going to be the goal line guy because he was getting every short, third and goal touch.
Yeah.
So definitely something to look at if you have him. I think you might want to try to trade him. Maybe you can get just a little bit of an upgrade, especially from like somebody who's been really bad the last couple of weeks and you think is going to turn things around. So how much are you going to spend on him?
Yeah, I think he's worth 5 to 10
Yeah.
percent,
So yeah.
just because he's always been an amazing goal line back. You think about him back on the Raiders. How many games he had with multi touchdown games. He has always performed on the goal line. This is one of the players that people usually sleep on because he's not flashy, but he's just really good in short yardage plays. He finds holes, he falls forward, kind of like Zeke. Think about it like Zeke.
Just a
Like
big guy.
he's a big guy. He's a bruiser, and he knows how to fall forward, which is huge for those goal line plays. So I think there's value in him. Definitely, it's nobody you want to break the bank for, but he's definitely worth a stash just because of the situation out there in Denver with the running backs.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think we were talking about some guys, but obviously nobody you want to break the bank for. Personally, I think the waiver ad of the week is Mr. Robbie Anderson. I think it's unquestionably he has to be the ad of the week. I know his stats don't look that great. Yada yada yada. He was playing in Carolina. He is now going to the Cardinals. That's not saying much because they don't look particularly good. But he's gonna go in there and slot right into Hollywood Brown's row. Hollywood unfortunately got hurt. I hate to see it. I literally have him just about in every league. I was a very, very big believer. It's a foot injury. They came out earlier and said it was going to be a season ending. Then they did some tests and it said like 6 weeks, but he's going to go get a second opinion. All that, like everything that says to me is he's done for the year. Hollywood, his rookie year with the Ravens, came in with the list rank. They said he was going to be fine, and he ended up missing a lot of time or just playing half the games. Can he still be effective? Yes, but this is the guy you want to target because he's going to fill in that role. He is literally a very similar version, slim receiver, likes to run deep routes, iffy hands, but
He's a deep threat. Yeah.
yeah, he's going to get volume in an offense that passes a lot. So that's my whole thing. How do you feel about him, and how much fab are you going to throw at this man? Or are we
Yeah,
going to throw at him?
so Robbie Anderson, I think he's definitely worth like 10 to 15, maybe even 20% of your fab. I don't think you would start him this week because they are on a short week and he is being traded. So I don't think he's going to have time to get acclimated, but he's definitely worth the pickup with the Hollywood news. If Hollywood misses any time, this man is going to and Robbie's always been a player who stays on the field. If you look at his snap percentage, it's always upwards of the 90s. Right now, these past 2 weeks, obviously, because with the issues they've been having, he's been, for whatever reason, this man want to smoke with the coach. He trying to fight his coach, and that's why he got shipped out of there very next day. Next day shipping, as they say.
Yeah, Amazon.
But yeah, so I think he's not like one of these super crazy receivers, but he is a deep threat. He's a solid receiver, and they need receiving options out there. Speaking of, Randall Moore should also see an uptick
Yep.
in his production with Hollywood being out. But Robbie Anderson, there's gonna be opportunity for him there, and he's on much more reliable quarterback.
Yep.
And with D Hop coming back this week, and like I said, I wouldn't start Robbie Anderson just because they're on a short week. They play Thursday night football against the Saints. Um, but definitely worth the stash if you're looking at receivers.
Especially when these bye weeks hit. This is a guy you might want to, consider just literally
Yeah,
just dropping into your receiver 3 or your flex spot. But the thing I want to get to is 2020 finished as receiver 19 in PPR. This is only 3 years ago. Like he's shown you, and then in 2017 finished as receiver 18. So he's had 2 top 20 finishes, and he's never had a quarterback as good as Kyler Murray, or been on a team that passes as much as this Cardinals team. So it's just something to
yeah.
consider. I think if you're really slim at receiver, I think you should drop 20%. And I think if you're not, I think you should be hovering around the 15%. So I'm definitely with you.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I just noticed you said the same numbers I said
Yeah,
exactly. So we're on the
same
same boat with this, man.
same page. I think a guy that I think some people might want to consider, Wandale Robinson. Only rostered in 20% of the leagues. I know you're looking at it, you're like 23% snap share. Why would I want a guy 5'8", 185? Why would I want a guy with 23% snap share? I'll tell you why, goddamn it, because motherfucker can play ball. Only 23%. He was nursing a knee and a hamstring injury. Finally came back a little bit earlier than anticipated, and only played 23% of the snaps, and still got 4 targets and 23%. That's the key thing, and 3 catches, 37 yards, and a tutty. He looked good. He actually just literally, like, for a small guy, he doesn't play small. He was going up there and doing his thing against our corners, I'm not going to lie. And just somebody who is explosive. He was a running back receiver in college, then converted fully to receiver at Kentucky, and just a weapon, a guy. And this is a team where he's going to get opportunities from, because if we look at this depth chart, Richie James, how much are we trusting him? Darius Slayton, how much are we trusting him? Tony's been hurt, unfortunately. And then, Johnson, Sills, Galladay, like nothing, and Captain nothing. So
Yeah, they are desperate for a receiver to step up over there, and who better than another rookie? I mean, not so long ago, the Giants had a rookie that came and made headlines.
yep.
Obviously talking about Odell, but that aside, the Giants desperately need a reliable receiving option, and they do not have that. Saquon, obviously, he's getting nicked up. They cannot keep giving him 25 plus touches every game. There was a play where he got hit, and
Fell on
I
his
thought,
shoulder.
yeah, his arm looked limp, and I thought he was done. But I guess he needed to shake it off.
Saquon,
Um,
baby.
yeah, Saquon looks like we're talking about it. He's nearing the end of his rookie deal. So we were just talking about it. You don't play with somebody's money. He's looking for that extension, looking to secure it. And we ended up talking about Saquon. We were talking about Robinson, but
He wants the
it just goes
Duffy.
to show, man. It just goes to show you, like, Daniel Jones needs to throw to somebody, and they've tried Slayton. They've tried. I mean, Tony. They can't try Tony because he's not on the field. Richie James, they tried. Kenny Galladay, like,
Horrible
I don't know,
contract.
fell off a cliff the moment he signed that contract. And Wandale Robinson, we keep saying it. That might as well be the word of the day. Opportunity. And he's gonna get it. Right now, he's on 23. He had a 23% snap share. I'm sure he was on a snap count coming back from injury.
Yep.
Um, the opportunity, man. He's gonna get it.
I think it's very
And
reminiscent of last year when Tony came in. I know you got to know as a Florida
yeah,
fan. He came in the
yeah.
first game. He was on a snap count. They really didn't see him, and then all of a sudden he was the only receiver, and then boom, 13 targets. I think this is going to be a very similar situation. Maybe not 13, but you guys get the premise. Like, he's definitely going to be used, in my opinion. And he was a second round rookie. This isn't like we're like, oh, he's a rookie and he's like a 7th round rookie. He's a second round rookie. Clearly, they liked him enough to take him in the second round. And he was the first offensive player taken by Brian Daboll and this new head coaching regime there. So, like, that's.
He scored a touchdown, man.
Yeah. At 5'8", if you get red zone targets, you got to be doing
just
something.
Think of, he was on the field less than a quarter of the game, and he got a touchdown.
Yep.
Just let that sink in. He's going to get the opportunity, and it's going to keep coming. But yeah, I see you pulled my guy up, bro. I personally, this might be somebody this might be like a hidden gem that I found, right? So people know about DPJ, but they don't really care for him because he's not like a big name or anything. But look at the numbers.
Tell the people.
Look at the numbers right there, man. The guy is on the field. He has not scored a touchdown, and he's producing. No touchdowns, and he's producing. He's giving you double digits points here and there. He's a second receiver option there, right? And think about this for a second, right? Right now, they're not really passing the ball. They're like mid-tier. They're like middle of the pack when it comes to passing plays.
14th.
But But if you end up needing, more wide receiver depth, and you see this man on waivers, then you think about if you're heading into the playoffs, Deshaun Watson comes back, and this team starts lighting up the scoreboard. They just start airing out the ball. This man is going to get more, and he's bound to score. He's bound to score. He doesn't have any touchdowns yet, and he's on the field. That's the main thing for him. He's producing. He's getting yards. His average depth of target is high, and yeah, man, I definitely think if you are looking for wide receivers, he's definitely worth the stash. I myself might be somebody who might be putting in a waiver claim for him because I see value here. He's 29% rostered. He has, five out of 4 out of his 6 games, he has 60 yards or more. I think we average, about 6 targets a game.
Yeah, 6 targets a game. And just like you're saying, guys, opportunity, and not just opportunity. Like, I don't know if you guys, this is very similar, just snap percentage and yard totals to Jacoby Myers. Everybody knows Jacoby Myers. He had I think he scored his first touchdown ever last year. Just somebody who has a consistent wide receiver 3 floor, or around wide. I know he finishes wide receiver 57 on the year, but he had 2 dud games. I think aside from those games in the beginning of the season, I think his stats look a lot better. And it's just something we're seeing it. He's on the field. He's their second receiver getting thrown the ball. And on top of all that, like you said, especially if you're in a position where you do not have to start this man yet, and you can hold him until Deshaun comes back. Point A, your position, you're going to be 5-1 at the top of the league. I think this is your perfect stash. Or when the playoffs come around, this guy might be the guy who wins you a championship. And looking at his schedule, Baltimore, New Orleans, Washington, New Orleans has been getting absolutely shredded lately in the passing game. The Ravens, I mean, need I say more? We saw what happened against the Dolphins, and just Washington again. Not necessarily been horrible. I don't think they've played the best competition, so that's something to monitor. It's just like we said, guys. This could be a potential league winner, and he's literally free. I think you can maybe get this guy for 0 fab.
Yeah, and literally, if you look at even the New Orleans, who's going to be drawing Lattimore? That's going to be Amari Cooper.
100%.
He's not going to be seeing Lattimore. So he is going to be drawing the second best corner, the second best defensive back. He's on the field, man. He has the opportunity. He's producing without touchdown. That's the thing for me.
Yep.
If you have obviously he had 2 dud games, the one against the Jets, which the Browns just threw, and the Pittsburgh game. But aside from that, he has 4 games where he's flirted with double-digit points. He has double-digit points in 3 of those 4 games, and in the other one, he had 9.
Yeah, excluding those 2 dud games, he's averaging 8 targets a game.
Exactly, and he's 29% rostered.
Yeah,
look at there's people on your roster who are not getting this kind of production.
Elijah Moore. We'll get to it.
Elijah Moore, yeah.
Honestly,
I have a few shares of him.
Yeah, honestly, he's somebody that that team looks worse and worse, and I mean that just about does it for. I know there's gonna be some people talk about Tyquan Thornton, which is somebody that got mentioned. I mean, we're not really gonna spend too much time on him. He's only 4% owned. He had a good week. Sometimes that happens. It just happened to be a very good week in terms of. He's a rookie receiver, maybe somebody you can keep on at the bottom of your roster, but he played a lot of snaps because Aguilar was out. So I don't know how much he's going to play when he gets back, and Damian Harris was out. It's just something to consider. But I think the last person we want to talk about is probably the only tight end we're going to talk about aside from Greg Dulcich. We already spoke on him. I think he's going to be literally free. If you have a good tight end and you can just stash this man, go for it. Dulcich for free. But if not, man, I think it's Robert Tonyan season. I think he's back off that ACL. 12 targets, 10 catches, 90 yards. Looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Yeah, he is. I mean, whenever you see 12 targets on a tight end, that just you cannot not talk about that. That's
you want
just
to throw that bat the bag as soon as you see 12 targets.
Yeah, man, and these are Aaron Rodgers targets at that. So that this is another one like the Giants. They are desperate for a receiving option, a reliable receiving option. I know Alan Lazard is there. He made a couple of nice catches. He
Yeah.
did get the touchdown.
And with Randall Cobb
Um,
being hurt now too, as you were mentioning
yeah,
earlier,
Randall Cobb is out. They already said he's gonna miss time.
Christian
So
Watson.
that opens up more targets. And Robert Tonyan, him and Rogers have shown a rapport. They've shown that they can get on the same page. Um, Definitely worth a pickup. How much fab are you throwing at him if
Bro,
you are still shooting your shots at tight end here?
I'm shooting my shot at tight end. I'm dropping 15% on him.
Yeah, I
That's
think about the same.
that's almost as much as or about the same. We're talking about Robbie Anderson. I think Robbie Anderson is a pickup of the week just because of sheer upside. I think this is the same category. You're shooting for upside, and it's not like again we're shooting blindly. He's been in PPR. He's tight end 9, which is crazy, and this was his first decent game. That just goes to show you just how bad tight end is and just how good he could be. Um, his snap percentage has been going up for the most part, which is something you want to see because he's coming off of a serious injury. And guys, 3 years ago he was tight end 4, 11 touchdowns. You don't. He's only scored 1 touchdown in 32 targets this year. Obviously, 11 and 59 is literally absurd, but I mean, expect to see some positive touchdown like regression. Expect to see, around 7, 8 targets, 5, 6 catches, maybe 50 yards, something like that. But if you're getting that consistently, honestly, I think you shouldn't ask for more. And like we've talked about, Cobb's hurt, Christian Watson's hurt. This whole team's offense has been kind of clunky. They've been kind of shitting the bed, to be very, very honest. And I think against Washington, it could be a get right game for them. And it could be a game where we see a lot of Tonyan. So
Yeah. Um, you know, Rogers is pretty much a given to get 2 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns each week. If you look at Rogers, I mean, besides week 1, he didn't have a touchdown this week. That game was just horrible. He only had 1, but yeah, look at it right there. He has 2 touchdowns almost every week. And historically, he's just very efficient. And Aaron Rodgers, there's some people in our league that believe the man is washed. I don't know how you can say a back-to-back MVP is washed. He just, like I said, they're looking for a receiving option, a reliable receiving option. Their Dubs has flashed. Lazard has flashed. Lazard has not been able to stay on the field. He's been injured. He's looks like he's getting healthy, but even then, um, Tunyon has the rapport. He's coming back from a serious injury, like you said. There's definite value there and definite upside, especially if you're still shooting shots at tight end.
yeah, he's rostered in I want to say it was 49% of leagues. So just
Yeah,
he barely made the threshold. Our threshold
yeah,
we implemented one, by the way, it's 50%, nothing more than 50%. But again, opportunities, man. That's what we talk about. That's literally the theme of this entire show has been opportunities, opportunities, opportunities. And that's what you want to see. Aaron Rodgers last 2 years has thrown north of 85 touchdowns. He only has 9 this year. The offense isn't moving the ball, but at the same time, like I do trust he's going to figure it out. Obviously, I don't expect
yeah,
40 touchdowns this year, maybe 25, 30, but that's better than what the pace that he's going for right now. So I definitely see this
yeah.
offense
I
getting
think
better.
he's due. I think he's due. I'm not betting against Aaron Rodgers. Um, especially coming off an MVP season. Uh, you know, three interceptions right now. He's at a higher rate or at a higher pace than normal, but I think that's because he's struggling to find receiving options. So I definitely think he's gonna figure it out as the season goes. I mean, he has a lot of new receivers as well. But you know, take it as you will. I mean, tight end landscape is as shallow as it gets.
Literally, it's about as deep as a kiddie pool. So you dive in with the first motherfucker you see that shows any kind of promise. I think there's nothing better than to end this week right here, man. We have it on the screen from the boy himself, Gator Gabe. I actually don't think you know this. I know you have Hopkins. Did you know he's actually my favorite NFL player? Period.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, we talk about hands, man. Man got the hands, man, on
Yeah.
and off the field. Because I don't know if you saw what he did to D'Angelo Hall.
Oh,
Oh my god,
yes, I did. Oh,
ended his
yes, I did.
career.
I love that.
literally the definition of a competitor, the definition of a absolute, as Andrew Tate says, top G. And unfortunately, Hollywood is hurt. But just from a football perspective, from a fan perspective, as we have it on the screen here, man, it's Nuxies. He's coming.
It is nuke season.
And I'm here for it, man. I can't wait to see this man on the field. Literally my favorite
I know.
player aside
I
from
have
Larry
him.
Fitzgerald ever.
I have him as much as I have Mike Williams. I have him in 3 out of 4 leagues. If you traded for him, man, I'm excited for you. And if you have endured the six game suspension, he was activated today. So,
Hey.
It's about that time. Nuke holders stand up.
Damn, I was about to say they don't have no Nuke Hopkins here. There he is. DeAndre Hopkins. He's back, man. Look at him, man. He be even posting TikToks about himself. Homie's about to go nuclear. Hence the name Nuke Hopkins. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Gator, for being yourself, man. Staying saucy. Everybody, be saucy. Get your wings. Next time you go to Wingstop, Twin Peaks, wherever you get your wings at, man. Tootsie's, the strip club. Hey, I just heard they got good wings, man. I don't know.
Hey.
But wherever you get your wings, man, make sure that they get not just regular, extra saucy, because you know how you guys got to do, man. We got to stay saucy, my friends. Deuces.